Welcome back. Today we will learn about the explosive romantic developments that could completely reshape Salem's most complicated love triangle as Shawn and Belle navigate the treacherous waters of their fractured relationship following Belle's dramatic split from the notorious EJ DiMera. The aftermath of Belle's shocking decision. The Salem community is still reeling from Belle's unexpected decision to walk away from her tumultuous relationship with EJ DiMera, a move that has sent shockwaves through the town's elite social circles. Sources close to the situation reveal that Belle's departure wasn't just a simple breakup, it was a calculated escape from what had become an increasingly toxic and manipulative dynamic. The accomplished attorney found herself caught in EJ's web of lies, legal machinations, and power plays that threatened to compromise not only her professional reputation but her fundamental values as well. Behind closed doors, Belle had been struggling with EJ's questionable business practices and his tendency to blur the lines between legal advocacy and outright criminal behavior. Friends noticed her growing discomfort with the moral compromises she was being asked to make, particularly when it came to defending clients whose cases clearly crossed ethical boundaries. The final straw reportedly came when EJ attempted to pressure Belle into taking on a case that would have required her to work against the interests of several Salem families she had previously represented. Shawn's complicated feelings surface. As news of Belle's breakup spreads throughout Salem, Shawn finds himself grappling with an unexpected mixture of relief, vindication, and cautious hope. Those closest to him report that he had been harboring deep concerns about EJ's influence on Belle from the very beginning of their relationship. Shawn's law enforcement background gave him unique insight into EJ's questionable connections and business dealings, creating a constant source of tension whenever the subject arose. The awkward conversation between Shawn and Belle promises to be laden with unspoken emotions and carefully chosen words. Shawn has been practicing restraint for months, biting his tongue whenever he witnessed EJ's manipulative behavior toward the woman he still considers the love of his life. Now, with Belle finally free from EJ's influence, Shawn sees an opportunity to express his genuine concerns without appearing vindictive or jealous. Insiders suggest that Shawn's relief goes beyond simple satisfaction at being proven right about EJ's character. He had been genuinely worried about Belle's safety, particularly after learning through his police contacts about some of EJ's more dangerous associates and their involvement in Salem's underground criminal activities. The knowledge that Belle was potentially putting herself at risk by association with EJ had been keeping Shawn awake at night, torn between his desire to protect her and his respect for her independence. A moment of vulnerable connection. The anticipated heart-to-heart conversation between Shawn and Belle represents a pivotal moment in their complicated relationship history. Belle, emotionally drained from her ordeal with EJ, finds herself desperately needing someone who truly understands her, someone who knew her before the complications of adult relationships and career pressures began to define her choices. Shawn represents that safe harbor, a connection to her authentic self that predates all the drama and manipulation she's recently endured. During their intimate conversation, Belle is expected to reveal previously hidden details about her relationship with EJ that will shock even Shawn, despite his suspicious nature. These revelations will include EJ's attempts to isolate her from longtime friends and family members, his subtle but persistent efforts to undermine her professional confidence, and his disturbing pattern of using emotional manipulation to control her decisions both personally and professionally. The emotional weight of these confessions will create an atmosphere of renewed intimacy between the former spouses, as Belle realizes how much she had missed having someone in her life who genuinely supported her ambitions without trying to shape them for his own benefit. Shawn's patient listening and supportive response will remind Belle of the qualities that originally drew her to him, his unwavering integrity, his respect for her independence, and his ability to love her without trying to change her fundamental nature. The question of reconciliation. As their conversation deepens and old feelings resurface, both Shawn and Belle will find themselves confronting the possibility of rekindling their romantic relationship. However, this potential reunion is complicated by years of hurt feelings, failed attempts at reconciliation, and the substantial personal growth both have experienced during their time apart. Belle's recent experience with EJ has taught her valuable lessons about recognizing manipulation and maintaining her independence within a relationship, while Shawn has developed greater emotional maturity and communication skills through his own journey of self-discovery. The chemistry between them remains undeniable, with longtime observers noting that their connection transcends the typical bounds of friendship or co-parenting partnership. Their shared history, including both their greatest joys and deepest sorrows, has created an emotional bond that neither subsequent relationships nor years of separation have been able to completely sever. Friends and family members have quietly been hoping for their reconciliation, believing that their love story represents one of Salem's greatest romantic legacies. However, the path to remarriage won't be simple or straightforward. Both Shawn and Belle have learned to be more cautious about rushing into major relationship decisions, and they'll need to address the fundamental issues that led to their original separation. These include their different approaches to handling conflict, their sometimes competing career priorities, and their need to establish better communication patterns that can withstand the pressures of Salem's dramatic social environment. Looking toward an uncertain future. The possibility of Shawn and Belle's romantic reunion has already begun generating intense speculation throughout Salem's social circles, with longtime residents remembering their original courtship as one of the town's most compelling love stories. Their potential remarriage would represent not just a personal triumph over adversity, but a restoration of one of Salem's most beloved couples to their rightful place in the community's romantic landscape. As they navigate this delicate phase of reconnection, both will need to demonstrate that they've learned from their past mistakes while proving that their love has matured beyond the youthful passion that originally brought them together. The stakes couldn't be higher, as a failed reconciliation attempt could permanently damage their ability to maintain even a friendly co-parenting relationship, while a successful reunion could establish them as Salem's ultimate power couple for years to come. Part 2, we will learn about the tangled web of secrets, lies, and betrayals unfolding around EJ, Kat, and Gwen in the September 8th episode. What began as a simple day at the hospital quickly spiraled into a scene filled with deception, ambition, and a clash of personalities that will almost certainly shape the next chapter of Salem's ongoing drama. The question everyone is asking, has Kat finally been exposed? From the very start of the episode, the tension is palpable. EJ, ever the calculating businessman, is overheard on the phone with Rita. His voice is sharp, his words clipped, as he reminds her that the construction team must sign a non-disclosure agreement before the project can move forward. To EJ, details like these aren't optional, they are weapons in his arsenal, protection against betrayal and leaks. But even the best-laid plans can be undone by someone who knows how to slip under the radar. And that someone is Kat. While EJ is busy securing the project's future through paperwork and legalities, Kat is at the hospital with a very different agenda. Instead of resting or focusing on her recovery, she's snapping photos of EJ's highly confidential blueprints. Her timing is as bold as it is reckless. She knows the risk, but her determination to gain leverage outweighs her fear of being caught. A twist of fate, Gwen arrives at the worst possible time. Just when Kat believes she has gotten away with her secret photography session, fate intervenes. Gwen enters EJ's office at the hospital, right as Kat is in the middle of rolling up the stolen blueprints. The tension in the room is instant. Gwen, never one to miss the smallest detail, raises an eyebrow at Kat's nervous movements. Kat, thinking on her feet, invents a flimsy excuse. She claims she wants to start work earlier than planned tomorrow and needed the documents for reference. It's a rushed explanation, and Gwen doesn't look convinced. Gwen's reason for being there is far simpler. She just wanted to take a peek at EJ's new space, curious since she happened to be at the hospital anyway. The contrast between the two women is striking. One is weaving lies to cover her tracks, while the other is casually inserting herself into EJ's world. As for the rolled-up blueprints, Kat dismisses them entirely with a nervous laugh and a wave of her hand. Never mind them, she insists, placing them back on the table as though they are nothing but scraps of paper. Yet her attempt at nonchalance only deepens the suspicion hanging in the air. Kat's desperation for guidance. In a surprising move, Kat shifts the focus away from the blueprints and turns her attention to Gwen. With a tone that blends flattery with desperation, she asks Gwen for advice. How can she stay on EJ's good side? The question reveals more than she perhaps intended. It shows just how much Kat fears losing her place in EJ's circle of influence. At first, Gwen refuses to engage. She knows Kat is not to be trusted, and she certainly doesn't want to become an accomplice in whatever scheme is brewing. But Kat persists, going so far as to compare EJ to Dimitri, a name that makes Gwen pause. The comparison, while clumsy, is enough to crack Gwen's resistance. If Kat truly wants to know how EJ operates, Gwen decides she may as well share a few observations, though whether it's to help Kat or to subtly warn her is up for debate. Gwen's insights into EJ's character. What Gwen reveals is more than just surface-level trivia. It's a portrait of EJ's personality, his quirks, and the unspoken rules that govern his interactions. According to Gwen, punctuality is non-negotiable. EJ cannot tolerate lateness, whether in business or personal matters. Anyone who wishes to earn his respect must value time as much as he does. Scotch is his drink of choice. Gwen notes with a hint of curiosity whether he indulges even during work hours. If true, it's a telling detail about EJ's balance between sophistication and potential recklessness. No cologne, ever. EJ avoids strong scents, preferring a natural presence that doesn't draw unnecessary attention. This quirk speaks volumes about his need for control and precision. The name Elvis is sacred. Only Susan's mother has the right to call him that, a reminder that beneath his polished exterior, EJ maintains fiercely personal boundaries that outsiders would be wise not to cross. These insights serve as both a guide and a warning. To those who wish to stand beside EJ, they must understand these unspoken rules. To those who cross him, the smallest violation can turn into a dangerous misstep. Lunch ends, but the tension remains. As their conversation winds down, Gwen offers Kat a polite but clearly strained smile before excusing herself. She exits with the calm demeanor of someone who has learned to keep her cards close to her chest. Kat, on the other hand, is left behind in EJ's office, her heart racing and her mind spinning. Did Gwen buy her story, or did she leave with suspicions that will eventually come back to haunt her? For the audience, the question is even more pressing: how long can Kat keep up this charade? She is juggling secrets, lies, and dangerous ambitions, all while circling around a man who is known for his ruthless efficiency. What this means for the future. The September 8th episode doesn't just present a moment of potential exposure, it sets the stage for a much larger power struggle. Kat's risky behavior suggests she is not content with the role she has been given. She wants more influence, more control, and she is willing to bend the rules to get it. But the more she pushes, the closer she comes to the edge of discovery. Meanwhile, Gwen's role as an observer makes her increasingly important. Her ability to notice details and her access to both EJ and Kat place her in a position of quiet power. Should she decide to expose Kat, the fallout could be catastrophic. Or, if she chooses to remain silent, she may find herself drawn deeper into a web of alliances and betrayals that could compromise her own standing. And hovering over all of this is EJ himself, unaware, for now, of the duplicity surrounding him. Yet history has proven that EJ is rarely fooled for long. When he does uncover the truth, the consequences for Kat could be devastating. Closing thoughts. The September 8th episode is more than a simple clash between two women in EJ's orbit, it is a study in deception, strategy, and the dangerous game of survival in Salem. Kat's desperation, Gwen's cautious observation, and EJ's looming presence combine to create a storyline that is both suspenseful and richly layered. The question remains, has Kat truly managed to escape suspicion, or has Gwen seen more than she is letting on? And when EJ inevitably learns the truth, will Kat find herself cast out, or will she manage to turn the tables once again? One thing is certain, this storyline is only beginning to unfold, and the choices made in these small moments will have ripple effects that extend far beyond a single day in Salem.